Seminar number 14, The Scholarship of Teaching. According to John Dewey, any genuine teaching will result, if successful, in someone's knowing how to bring about a better condition of things than existed earlier. I don't think anyone would disagree with him there. The challenge faced by educators and teachers today is knowing whether or not their teaching affected a change in a learner, whether it is a change in knowledge or behavior or some other characteristic in the targeted learner. The scientific method could certainly be applied to teaching to answer that question. We all like to think our teaching has an effect, but whether it truly has the desired effect that we want it to and how big that effect is requires purposeful and objective examination. Unfortunately, many teachers face barriers to answering that question, whether or not their teaching is truly effective and how big of an effect their teaching has. Some of those barriers include limited training in the scientific method, limited resources, a confusing IRB process. Do learners actually qualify as subjects that require an IRB proposal? Small sample size and difficulty defining relevant outcomes. We'll talk more about outcomes later in the course of the seminar. It is important to assess teaching and all forms of education the way we assess our interventions in science. The PICO model is an easy way to do so. The population are our learners. The intervention is the educational strategy we hope to show has an effect. The comparison is another educational strategy, such as traditional teaching or self-learning, and the outcome is the changed condition in the learner. A terrific guide that should be a must-read for all scholars of teaching is Curriculum Development for Medical Education, a 6-step approach by David Kern and co-authors. It is available on Amazon.com. Every academic department should have at least one copy available for its staff. The Kern book clearly identifies the 6 critical steps that should be followed when assessing a curriculum. And the good news is that each of these steps can result in a separate publishable product. Problem identification, needs assessment of learners, goals and measurable objectives, educational strategies, implementation, and evaluation and feedback are the 6 distinct steps that one should follow when implementing and developing a new curriculum, and each of these steps can result in a publishable product. Commonly used outcomes in recent education publications include satisfaction and self-confidence. These are easy to assess. These are usually self-reported using some kind of survey instrument, and they were decent outcomes to use years ago when the scholarship of teaching was just getting off the ground. Better, more objective outcomes that are not self-reported should now instead be considered whenever an education-based study is designed. Is the learner's knowledge improved after that new educational strategy? Are the skills or performance or behavior somehow improved? Does that learner now meet the standards of competence? To be considered seriously at meetings and at journals where your manuscript will be reviewed, definitely include measurement of some of the ACGME competencies, since that is now the common language in the realm of academia and makes your study comparable to other education studies. In some ways, designing an animal study or even a randomized clinical trial is much easier than designing a study to assess the impact of an innovative educational program, because measuring the outcomes is still so difficult and controlling for the effect of other confounders is even more difficult. Participating in education research can be frustrating because gains are rarely seen in the short term. Becoming a true scholar of teaching is a lifelong journey, and for those willing to commit to this journey, the benefits are invaluable. Studying the effect of teaching or innovative education right now comes with unlimited opportunities, because how competencies are defined and measured is still evolving. New media seems to be available to educators yearly. New technology provides new ways of delivering information and measuring the effect of that delivery. New professional networks of young, energetic academics are now eager to extend partnerships and study education, and there are other interested parties willing to invest in the efforts to improve education, especially governmental agencies and private philanthropists. Everyone is now questioning the traditional form of delivering education in large classrooms. The time is ripe to figure out how to improve education for every type of learner in every type of setting. To be well versed in the scholarship of teaching, it is important to read some high-quality education journals. Academic Medicine and Medical Education are two excellent journals worth seeking out for a better understanding of what is cutting edge, what are our current needs, and just for general inspiration. I mean, there are some incredible articles written by really inspired folks. So please seek these journals out and read some of those articles. Now that we've reviewed the fundamentals of different study designs, in the next seminar we'll talk about data management strategies.